Hey everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and we have a soap video. And I'm excited today because I'm going to be doing a beer soap. Now, I've been thinking about doing a beer soap for a while. Tons of people have done beer soaps. And what I wanted to do was make like the soap sort of from everything from scratch. I happen to have a friend, a good friend, Ryan, who is a home brewer. He's been doing it for years, and he makes delicious beers. So I asked him if he would make a beer for me that was home brewed, so everything is sort of from scratch. So that's what I'm using in place of my water today. Now, the great thing about having, someone who could make this for me, I asked him to make it sort of on the lighter side for alcohol, so not a very high alcohol content, which he was able to do. I asked it also to contain like a fruit of some kind because I wanted sugars. So this one he made is, oh, and also a grain. Like, I thought like a wheat beer also would add some nice things to the soap, sort of like adding oatmeal to it, right? But in this case, we're just sort of adding it on the beer. So he made a wheat beer with guava that he sort of soaked in guava. And the alcohol content is pretty low on this. I think he said it's, if I remember correctly, it's around 4.5%, something like that. So on the lower end. I actually drank some yesterday, and we had a Labor Day picnic. So he brought some to drink as well. It's delicious to drink, but I've actually used it for our soap today. So, okay. Now, what I plan to do is, because this is has alcohol in it, I do expect it to move faster. Some people have said that they boil the beer beforehand or they whisk it really fast. I didn't do any of that. I just had my lye and I poured the beer in it. Now, I will tell you when I did that, it did like froth up a lot. But I had it in one of these quart containers, and it didn't go over the top, but just if you do that and you're not going to boil it or whisk it or whatever, be prepared for it to sort of foam up quite a bit. But otherwise it was fine, and then I've just let it sit to come to a good temperature. Now you'll notice, you'll see I have it divided here. I actually have one recipe of soap that I made, but I've divided it because I want to do, design-wise, a layer on the bottom that's a solid color, a mica line, and then a swirl above that. Because I think this is going to move very quickly, what I've done is taken my soap batter and divided it into 1/3 over here, which is what I'm going to use for the base, and then 2/3, which I'm going to use for the colored portion on top. I'd also like to pour the bottom and let it set up a little bit before I pour the ones on top. And that's another advantage to sort of dividing this up. I also have my fragrances divided so everything can kind of be equal. Let me go over the recipe very quickly. You can find the recipe down below if you're on your laptop. There's a section that says Show More. Click on the Show More. That should open up the recipe itself with all of the amounts and the sources for all of my things. If you're on a mobile device, I think there's a little down arrow. Click on that and that should open up the section also. Okay, so for my lye, water, and oils here, 480 grams of olive oil pomace, 300 grams of coconut oil 76 degree, 240 grams of cocoa butter, deodorized, 120 grams of rice bran oil, 60 grams of castor oil, 167 grams of sodium hydroxide, and 456 grams of my friend's guava wheat beer. I will be adding a little bit of sodium lactate to each one of these, just to make sure the bar ends up nice and hard. For colors, what I'll be doing is Cappuccino, which is a celestial color for the base. And I think I'm going to use that in the swirl also. But then I have some Vibrance Orange from Nurture Soap Supplies, Sister Golden Hair Supplies from Mad Oils. I have those pre-mixed in some oil, and I have some of the Sister Golden Hair Supplies already in a small sieve, because that's what I'm going to use to do the Mica line. For fragrances, I have a mixture. I have 40 grams of Cedarwood essential oil from Bramble Berry, 60 grams of honey and leather fragrance from Bramble Berry, and 80 grams of Crackling Firewood fragrance oil from Nature's Garden. Now, both the honey and leather and Crackling Firewood, the notes say they accelerate slightly, and they both say they discolor very slightly, either to like an ivory or a tan, which is totally fine with me. Now, they both say they both accelerate. I have alcohol in here, which I think is going to accelerate. So I'm tempting fate a little bit here, but we'll see how it all goes. All right, so I'm going to move the bigger portion off to the side, because we're going to do that later. And all I did was take my entire soap recipe and divide it into thirds, or divided it by 3. 1/3 went here, and 2/3 are over there, okay? And I'm using the tall and skinny mold from American Soap Supplies. All right, so I'm going to add my sodium lactate, just before I forget. And because I'm only doing, this is a solid color, it's just going to go in one layer here. I think what I'm going to do, this will also give me a chance to sort of see how the soap behaves, if it like super speeds up, or if I have a little bit of time. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my color and my fragrance oil right to my oils. Give that a little blend just to mix everything up. Oh, and this fragrance combination it's definitely very masculine. Crackling Firewood has a very smoky quality to it, but also kind of a little bit of pine. Cedarwood is like, gosh, is a deep, woody, earthy fragrance. And honey and leather smells pretty much just exactly like it sounds. It's got that leathery quality, and it's got a little bit of honey sweetness to it. Overall, I find this mixture to be definitely a very masculine fragrance. It's earthy, it's deep, and it's got a little, just a tiny bit of sort of brightness from both the honey and the pine that comes through it. But it's definitely a sort of deep, rich aroma. Okay, so we have that all mixed up. I'm going to add my lye water and mix with my beer here. You can see this is a nice amber color already. The beer itself, I should have saved a little just to show you what the beer looked like, was a very pale amber. It was kind of a light beer, but adding the lye to it definitely sort of changed the color. Okay. I mean, I'm at light trace, but it doesn't, it didn't turn soap on a stick or anything. I'm just going to put this right into the bottom here. Well, it's definitely thickening up. I mean, it's thick trace already. All right, so that gives me a sense of how fast this is going to move, which is very fast. Let's see if I can add a little bit there. Yeah, this moved really fast. It's already firmed up. Like I wasn't even able to get sort of a smooth layer here. So, not sure what that means for my colors. Right now I'm just going to do the gold mica line. I probably only have a few seconds to sort of mix up the other batch and get colors done. So, okay. So this is going to move really fast, but I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do an in-the-pot swirl. Let's see. I'm going to put the fragrance in, mix the lye, do a quick little blend, pour off some into each of these containers. I think I'm going to leave this just natural, and then I'll do orange and gold in these two. And then do a quick in the pot swirl and try to get it in there before it turns into a rock. Okay, so wish me luck. Here we go, I think. And let's do a little swirl with the gold and the orange, I think. And I think I'm gonna do a little shake of the gold mica too on top. I'm not going to cover it, but I want to get just a little. Okay. All right, that moved pretty fast, but I think I got it. I expect this to heat up quite a bit. See the top there? So I'm going to put this in the fridge, let it chill till tomorrow, and then unmold it and cut it. So stay tuned for the cutting. Okay folks, here we are with the cutting. So it went in the fridge for a couple of hours. Then I took it out last night and let it sit. I actually unmolded it last night. It was hard enough, and let it sit on the counter overnight. I like doing that also because it sort of dries out the sides a little bit before I cut it. So, okay, here we go. I'm excited to see how this came out. Ooh, uh-oh. Well, that's no good. My mica line separated on that one, hopefully. Oh, I got a partial gel. I haven't had a partial gel in a long time. And this went in the fridge, but I'm not super surprised because of the alcohol and sort of the extra sugar that was in here. It'll probably, after it cures, you will probably hardly see that at all. But it's pretty nice. I was kind of going for that, you know, kind of brown, but not sort of in your face, kind of subtle. Oh, that one's pretty. I like that one. Sort of camouflagey. It smells. Gosh, that smells so good. I was a little worried because when I was pouring it, it really looked like it was ricing. And I thought I might get kind of a chunky appearance to that top swirl piece. But it came out pretty good. Okay. And I expect those colors to develop just a little bit. The brown on the bottom, and that's swirled in the top, I expect to darken quite a bit, actually. So I think I'll get more of a contrast in the swirl that's at the top once it's cured, actually. But, okay, that's it. My very first beer soap. What kind of, if you make beer soap, what kind of beer do you like to use in your beer soap? I'm interested to know the different kinds of beers that people use and why you use them. Leave a comment down below about if you're a beer soap maker, what kind of beer you use and why. I'll be interested to read them. And that's it. Like, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff, and comments, questions, leave them below. And thanks so much for watching. I'll check back here for more videos. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.